Iron Man versus Doctor Doom, Adrian. So this right here is for all you people out there that say Iron Man is going to be a Doom variant, yada, 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 all this bullshit. I'm going to break down today and I'm going to tell you why they're so different. I'm going to tell you what they do have in common because you're not that crazy. They do have some commonalities.
Sure.
But to me, they are, and I'm also going to, by the time we're done with this, I'm just speaking this into existence. You will understand why Robert Downey Jr. is the only option to play Doctor Doom in the MCU.
So when you say versus, you're not talking about like how we've done in the past, the street corner.
Nope, not fisticuffs, Adrian.
Not fisticuffs.
Not shoot the fair
one. So more
one.
of a comparison.
There you go. Yes, it's a deep dive. So buckle up, get hydrated, maybe take an aspirin, something. Get fucking ready. All right. So on the surface, they're both armored geniuses, right? They're both got big egos. They both are saviors to certain people. So on the surface, the shit, it makes sense.
Money.
They both have money. Both of their bodies have been somewhat redesigned around tech.
Yeah.
You go back to the early days, Iron Man's arc reactor, which you have right there, was keeping shrapnel away from his heart. Right? And then he ended up figuring out a way to take that energy and use it for a lot of other uses. And Doom was damaged in college trying to save his mother, his face, but in the comics, his lungs were also damaged. So it wasn't just, I scarred up my face. So there was an element of these suits that were kind of preserving their lives, right?
Yeah.
They both think that they can fix humanity if you just get the fuck out of their way.
Right.
Like that. So those things they do have in common. But what you're going to think of, what you're going to hear today is, I guess, what happens to a genius when they grow up in the opposite environments, because that's kind of where the similarities stop for the most part. When you get into their upbringing, completely different. They're not twins. It's almost like a mirror universe.
Right.
So you got Tony Stark. You're a big Iron Man guy, Adrian. He is a privileged individual.
Sure.
He grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. But he grew up with a dad who raised him as almost like a prototype. Like his dad wasn't loving.
He was he was a ward of the estate, basically.
Yes.
He was there. So his father treated him like, back in the day where, the father never interacted. He was always off doing some shit. The mom kind of raised him. And then when he got old enough, he went off to prep school and all this other kind of stuff.
Right.
So it was that kind of detached rearing.
And I think a lot of why Tony went down the route he did was to try to impress his father.
Sure.
Because to his father, intelligence was currency. How smart you are, how innovative, that's all he cared about.
Well, his father had built, this tech company selling primarily weapons and, during the war and stuff. That's how they made their money.
Right.
So anything outside of continuing that can be looked upon as weakness.
Yeah. And I think anything Tony did that wasn't along those lines, Howard didn't give a fuck about. Like, I don't give a shit. That was what he was impressed with. So switch up. Victor Von Doom. He was raised in oppression.
Gypsy, basically.
Gypsy. His mother practiced sorcery to protect their Romani village. She then bargains with Mephisto, loses her soul because he's a motherfucker. His father, Werner, dies. He's protecting Victor from young soldiers. He's fucking whacked. Grows up poor, hunted, completely different upbringing than Tony Stark. And then he decides at a young age that the universe itself must be redesigned. No mentors. It's just him fucking raising himself pretty much. Tony was special. Well, Tony was told he was special, but he had to prove it. Right? We gave you everything, but now prove to me that you're fucking as awesome as I am. Victor was basically told he was nothing by everyone around him, and he kind of grew up trying to destroy that lie. So it's kind of like similar pain, but complete different lessons.
Right. You know, based on that synopsis, I would say that Victor had, well, he did have more to prove, but he came further along, in some ways than Tony, because
Mhm.
Tony had all of the privilege, the access to do whatever he wanted. Victor had nothing.
Nope.
And he came up, you know, to become basically this monarch
Mhm.
over an entire country.
Let's talk about how they both, I guess, became metal.
Mm,
They both got their suits, both created their suits. So Tony is actually wounded by his own weapons. The origin we saw in the movie Iron Man, outside of the I guess era change from Vietnam to
Right.
Afghanistan, was very close to his comic origin.
correct.
He was captured in Vietnam. We're talking comics here too. He builds a suit of iron to escape, survive. The arc reactor, like we talked about, keeps the shrapnel from reaching his heart. And he comes home, dismantles his father's arms business, and becomes Iron Man. Really going out to fight all of these, I guess, enemies that he created for so long.
Right.
Because it was his own weapons where he got blown up. He was over in Vietnam and they stole his shit and blew him up.
Right.
Victor was wounded by his own fucking brilliance, pretty much,
Right.
or brilliance with a little, a small miscalculation.
Mm-hmm.
They're at the Empire State University, builds a machine to contact his mother's spirit. So, you know, he's grown up, he's in college now, he's at the Empire State University, he's a fucking genius, but he's still dealing with this trauma from losing his mother at a young age. And the circumstances, it's not like it was just some accident, like Mephisto bargained for her soul.
Mm-hmm.
And his idea is, well, I'm going to build a machine so I can contact my mother's spirit. Reed warns him that there's a flaw in his programming. He ignores Reed. He thinks he's trying to fuck with him. Victor's very paranoid too.
Sure.
He thinks everyone's out to get him.
Mm-hmm.
But when you hear about how he was raised, it would make sense because he raised with everyone out to fucking get him.
Right.
He ignores him. The experiment explodes, scars his face, ends his academic career. He blames Reed, not himself. So he thinks Reed fucked up his calculation intentionally.
Right.
He decides that humility is for the weak, disappears into Tibet, studies monks, learns to merge science with sorcery. So he already knew some magic from his mom.
Sure.
But he didn't merge the two. This is what he did after he got, damaged. He forged his armor in molten rage. The mask, it's not just protection, it's, I guess, kind of a punishment in a way. Tony's trauma gave birth to empathy. Tony's trauma changed him.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to him in Vietnam, because prior to that, he was the same warmonger his dad was. He grew into that person, right? And that really kind of reshaped his whole ideology. And then Doom's trauma kind of birthed this ego almost. Why do they build? Tony builds, I think, because in a lot of ways, he's trying to make up for the things he did. There's a lot of guilt. Tony's very guilt-ridden, right? I mean, which has led to so many issues. Like, he was an alcoholic in the Demon in the Bottle line. He deals with a lot of guilt for the things he's done in the past. He deals with a lot of, I think, trauma from his childhood in a different way than Victor. The neglect he felt from his dad.
Yep.
He feels like he was never good enough. And the only time his dad cared is when he was innovating, creating, and doing anything else he didn't give a shit about.
Sure.
So he works his entire life in the comics to really try to make up for what he's done. And he almost overdoes it. He's trying to save humanity almost like in exchange for creating these weapons and all this destruction that I feel I've caused. He almost treats it creating like a penis,
Right.
Not like a penis, like a penis. Like when you weren't Catholic, but I was Catholic for like 4 years. And, you go, you do the confession, and then they tell you, like, you got to go and say 37 Hail Marys and 5 Our Fathers and hold the rosary, and everything's all good.
Yeah.
I wish, never mind. I'm not even gonna get into it. So Tony's workshop was like him down in his little fucking lab tinkering was like his therapy.
Yeah.
He felt justified, like I'm doing something right. Dooms is almost like a church, dude. Like he turned himself into this monarch. He really wants to be worshipped in a lot of ways. Like their egos are very different.
Sure.
All right, let's talk about their power sources. We're not gonna do a deep dive because we did that last week on Doom's magic, but there's some similarities in here too. So their primary power, Tony comes from the arc reactor. It's clean, it's microfusion, clean out, fucking Google that. Victor Von Doom has a dimensional core. I learned this doing this deep dive. It's basically energy from hell plus science.
Well, initially when it started out, I think it was a nuclear reactor.
Okay.
Back in the old day. But yeah, dimensional core sounds sexy today. But also Doom, when if I recall, Doom, when he first put the mask on, he put it on before it was cooled down. So the mask is permanently, the mask was permanently attached to his face.
Oh shit. So relationship to magic between the two of these, Tony don't fuck with it.
No.
He's a physics guy, dude. He don't understand magic. Victor fucks with magic. He's all about it.
And some say magic is an advanced form of technology. So,
yeah. Because of this dimensional core, Doom can literally summon demons through his code and his power and his suit. He's also fucking with dark magic too. And we talked about in the magic breakdown, Doctor Strange using magic is almost bargaining, right? Like he'll call upon some dimensional being to almost, hey, let me borrow this power. But then you owe something to these motherfuckers.
Right.
Doom is stealing it. He ain't got no permission.
Yeah.
He's just tapping in and stealing their shit and fucking using it. So I guess a little more unhinged than the others.
And that's Doom.
That is Doom. So the armor design, Iron Man powered by the arc reactor. He's been thrown so many different variants of these suits: nanocarbon, vibranium, titanium shells, and the arc reactor. I mean, it's used palladium, it's used vibranium. It can use a ton of different substances to, it's changed throughout the decades. He's got a neural interface. He's also had the Extremis in comics. He's had the Bleeding Edge armor, which is almost like it's like nanobites almost, like fucking liquid metal in a way. Right. He's had shit that has been merged to his body and just literally pops out like another layer of skin. He's all kinds of different tech. But in a nutshell, he's got the repulsors, he's got thrusters, he's got the unibeam core. If he really needs to, he can fucking blast you with that arc reactor. All kinds of different shields. AI integrated, everything from Jarvis to Friday. He's all different versions. But his suit was essentially built to save lives, including his own.
Right.
Doom's armor, we dug into the magic elements last week. It's a hybrid of, I guess, fusion. It's a hybrid of magic and armor. It's plated with runes. There's even vibranium. It can generate force fields. It's got anti-magic ability to fight off other magic. It has life support. Both their suits have life support. The gauntlets can act as repulsors and cast spells. That was the really cool thing that I learned last week doing that is he's got these spells fused into his armor. So he don't got to say shit like Doctor Strange to the fucking Vishanti, whatever, my shit. He just fucking blasts you.
Right.
And he can conjure up spells like that, dude.
And when he does that, it looks like tech, but it's actually magic.
Yeah.
So it's like pre-programmed magic that's acting defensively.
It's crazy. Just like he's got a little stream deck in there. He's just hitting the button, you know?
There you go.
Tony's armor kind of evolves like software update. He's always trying to improve it. And then Doom's kind of evolves different, almost like how you would evolve learning magic, and it's a different level. He's not just software update and all of a sudden he's more powerful. He may take power from another individual and incorporate it. Let's talk about their intellect. Both of these are they're both top probably 5 geniuses in Marvel. I mean, these two are alongside Reed, Hank, how many other characters would you put up in this category with Tony Stark, Victor Von Doom, Reed Richards, Hank Pym? I mean, is Bruce Banner a little bit lower tier? Would you put him up there?
I wouldn't put Bruce Banner up there. He's a specialist.
Yeah.
These guys, they're a different category. Valeria.
Okay. But that's pretty much it.
Right.
Those 4 or 5, and that's it. Tony's definitely more empathetic, definitely, I guess, has a better moral compass, but also his ego still gets the best of him sometimes. Right. He will do bad by trying to do right, like creating Ultron in the MCU.
Right.
You need a suit of armor around the world because we got these outside threats, but his ego, I think, caused him to kind of rush that and do it without his team's consent, which then it backfired. Doom he's a dictator. He's a monarch. He's looking for worship, and he'll protect you if you worship him, in a nutshell. And he'll protect his people over everything at all costs, his people being people in Latveria.
Right.
Leadership style, Tony's the visionary. He leads through collaboration. As much as he's all about himself, he does work with others. Him and Hank in the comics, that's another thing we didn't really get to see in the MCU was those two, their relationship.
Right.
They do a lot in the comics together. They have a love-hate relationship. Him and Banner, obviously, they've worked together a lot. He's created movements, the Avengers, SHIELD initiatives, the Rescue Armor programs. He I think for the most part, although it doesn't always work out that way, Tony is doing everything for the better of the world. From his perspective.
Sure.
Doom's a monarch.
Well, they all do.
Yeah, they all do.
Tony, Doom, Thanos.
But I think Thanos only gives a fuck about himself. Like, he wants to be remembered as the guy who did all these things. But really, I don't give a fuck about what I do to these people to save these ones, as long as I look like the hero.
Well, he does give a fuck about one other thing, which we'll get into.
Oh, death.
Yep.
In the comics.
Yep.
The comics. Doom leads through order and fear, but he does deliver peace to his people. Yeah. So kind of like, listen to what the fuck I say, you'll be okay. Yeah. Look the wrong way, I'll smack the shit out of you. Latveria under Doom. No crime, universal health care, unmatched tech, and people, they fear him, but they love him.
Right.
Tony's leadership is, I guess, democracy in a lab coat. Doom's leadership is dictatorship in a crown.
I wouldn't even compare their leadership.
It's night and day.
It's night and day. Well, Tony doesn't really lead anything, not on a permanent basis.
Just a team.
Yeah, right. And Doom, his thing is, he's responsible for entire people. So it's different. I would compare the two.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's one of the areas where they're the furthest apart.
Yeah.
Because Tony ain't leading no country.
No.
He's leading a team of Avengers, and half the time they can't get along. Some of their most impressive technological feats, Tony's extremis, merges biology with tech, suit kind of stored in his bones in the comics. His bleeding edge armor, the liquid nanomachines that form instant constructs, which we saw pretty cool versions of that in the MCU. Model Prime, Godbuster armor. He literally has suits that have enough energy to output almost celestial scale. Yeah. And then all kinds of AI ecosystems that out-evolve humans. And he's created some pretty amazing things.
Sure.
Doom, He invaded hell and defeats Mephisto. I mean, that's a hell of a fucking accomplishment, right? In Triumph and Torment. Time platform, he created a working time machine, which is actually how Kang, Nathaniel Richards, came back, because he was born, we were talking about Kang last week a little bit, which we're going to get into in other stuff. He was born in the year 3000. He found Doom's time platform, and that's how he went back in time. So they're very connected. The Doom bots, these automatonus, double, I mean, they're indistinguishable from Doom.
Right.
A lot of times they don't know that they're Doom until they defeat one.
Right.
You cut his head off and you see wires and shit like that. Ain't Doom.
A lot of times the Doom bots don't know that they are not Doom.
True.
Which is interesting. Right?
Yes. He slayed the Beyonders. He rebuilt the multiverse as Battleworld and Secret Wars. So pretty fucking amazing accomplishment. And then this is where one of the connections I think people get all fucking confused about. He did become infamous Iron Man. He became a hero using Stark's armor after Tony Stark was dead in the comics. He never became Tony Stark. He never said I was a variant. It'd be like, you dropped that hat, I picked it up and put it on.
Right.
I'm not Adrian. I'm just Mike wearing a hat Adrian used to wear.
Correct.
It's really not that fucking complicated to understand. So if you don't understand it, you should shut the fuck up. No, just kidding. You should do this.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Anyway, both of these men, in a way, are traumatized children in adult bodies.
Sure.
Right? Like, I mean, that is something that adds up there.
Right.
Tony hides behind his sarcasm and invention, and Doom hides behind his rituals and armor. Neither of them can process vulnerability without turning it into infrastructure. Tony, his mentality is I can fix it. Doom is more I can fix you.
Right.
Tony loses his humanity when he ignores his emotion. Doom loses humanity when he feels it. They're both very, very interesting characters.
Sure.
They've met a handful of times in the comic. The first time, I think, was in 1981, Doom Quest. It was a time travel. They both, it basically formed a mutual respect after that, I guess, line, that story was done. Then you got the infamous Iron Man in 2016, which we talked about, where Doom wears the armor, tries to keep Tony's ideals alive, but the world's not going to let him, and he decides not to. Secret War tie-in, there's some Doom Stark crossover there. And then you have that ridiculous What If one where they body swap, and I think people believe that that's why they're fucking
the same person.
The same. So let's see. Tony, he does die. He's died in the MCU. He's died in the comics. He dies a martyr, pretty much. He dies saving the universe. His memory becomes the blueprint for the next generation, Riri Williams, Rescue, and AI Tony. Doom never really dies. He just keeps fucking updating. He's a G. He's a fucking survivor. So, dude, there's a lot. What else we got here? Closing thoughts here. Tony is a genius with guilt. Victor Von Doom is a genius with grief, in a nutshell. Both men have changed the Marvel Universe probably more than anyone else could. Both represent what happens when intellect replaces faith. Now, so when you say they're basically the same guy, just remember this. Tony built his armor to remember that he was human. Doom built his armor to forget he ever was. Doom's trying to become a mythic fucking machine.
A god himself.
A god. Doom is trying to become a god. Tony's trying to remain a person that can use this tech to save humanity. Very, very fucking different. Which is why, though, I think that Doom is the perfect villain for this phase. And I think he's going to be treated more of like an anti-hero to an anti-villain. I think he's going to walk those lines. And because of how close but how different and how much of a contrast these characters are, I do think Robert Downey Jr. is the perfect fucking actor to play these roles. It sounds like, after going through this, sounds like it was meant to be.
It's interesting. When I heard the news about RDJ playing this is almost like, so when Tony was playing Iron Man, he was younger, right? So Doom is like, I won't say an upgrade, but Doom is really a mature Iron Man.
Yeah.
So to me, this was a natural progression. It made sense for him to now play Doom because now Doom is more stoic. He's like, because Tony's like a playboy, this and that. Doom's more recluse.
Yep.
So this would be a natural progression for an actor playing an older role to get into. And Doom, because of the similarities, like I said, he's like an old man, Iron Man,
right,
kind of a deal.
Yeah, dude, I think it makes a lot of sense. Now, I understand why people when you only look at shit at the surface level, you become stupid. Is fair statement, Adrian, or is that a little harsh?
Well, you remain stupid.
There you go, yes. But it's why you got to dig deeper, because on the surface, yes, it looks like, well, if you could be Iron Man because you was Iron Man before, you could be Iron Man again, right? Got to be, right? But when you dig into it, you realize why I said a year ago when we first heard about this, it's genius.
Sure.
It ain't lazy. Casting Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom is not lazy. It's motherfucking genius.
Right.
When you understand these characters, when you read a comic, you can understand the characters and you see how much of a contrast they are. He ain't a clone. It ain't the same character. They're not fucking twins. It's literally opposite sides of a mirror almost.
Yeah.
So, all right, dimensional core. This is something I never even heard of this until this past week. You heard of this in the comics, dimensional core?
No, like I said, when I was reading about Doom, it was an onboard nuclear reactor, basically.
Okay. Which it sounds kind of like what this is, but so the dimensional core, so we're going to switch gears here. We're talking a little bit about the dimensional core. It's a power source at the heart of his armor and a Citadel technology. It's a hybrid system. It draws energy not just from physics, but from the multiverse itself. Okay. So, you know how Tony's arc reactor is internal. It creates its own energy. This core isn't built to generate energy, but it steals it from other planes of existence.
Yeah.
It's a bridge between dimensions. It pulls from the interdimensional folds where magic and science overlap, compresses it into a stable, controllable form. This is what gives Doom access to both magic and technological energy streams in one system. So it merges these two powers, if you will. It's a quantum siphon. So some of these planes that it can tap into, the dark dimension, the crimson cosmos, even the negative zone, even Mephisto's realm.
Right.
So all of like the worst fucking spots that you want to be pulling power from, right?
Or you can look at it as the spots that nobody gives a fuck about anyway. So because there was an episode in Star Trek where they built this bridge between another universe to draw power.
Okay.
But what was happening was that universe was made up of living disembodied entities. So what they were actually doing, that power they were drawing was actually killing these entities. So when you have Doom, now it's interesting that this reactor doesn't draw power from just one place. I don't know if it siphons simultaneously, if it chooses, but what that really means for Doom is that he has really unlimited power.
Yeah. So, and it doesn't fully open portals. It just it grazes their boundaries. It extracts ambient cosmic energy, demonic ether, or extra dimensional radiation in bursts. Then the core stabilizes that flow with runic containment fields so it doesn't tear him apart.
So imagine these whales that go through the ocean with their mouth open. They're not eating the sharks. They're not eating the dolphins, the orcas, all this other bullshit. They're just skimming the shit. They're literally just opening their mouth.
Yep.
The shit is flowing through, and they're trapping the small plankton particles that, in mass quantities, I might add.
Right.
But they're just attracting the surface of what's in the ocean,
Yeah.
not the big pieces. So he's able to do that. And it's actually genius because that means that he can draw energy and not attract the attention of any entity
Right.
that might be in that dimension.
And it's all dimensions, good, bad, everything in
Right.
the middle. It's like siphoning fuel from heaven and hell at the same time and turning it into clean electricity.
Yeah.
You're literally just taking all this shit. You got this core that turns it into something clean that you can use like that,
Right.
because it has magic and tech. It is fucking genius.
Yeah. You got a generator. It can accept gasoline, diesel, propane, and natural
Fucking
gas,
air.
and wood all at the same time, and it converts it into
Yep.
electricity for your house.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It is, dude. It's insane. So the dimensional gates are small enough, though, to your point, to avoid attracting attention from the beings. Because the dark dimension, you got Dormammu,
Right.
Mephisto, and I'm sure there's plenty of fucking others. And then it filters the energy so it doesn't corrupt his mind or body. Now, it also, he's used these dimensional cores in other areas of his empire. The time platform, the teleportation arrays, they use similar cores to open stable gates through space and time. So he's used these other places. His battle world and doom world realities are stabilized by massive dimensional cores that balance magic and physics. He uses Molecule Man to kind of fucking, I guess, feed these in Secret Wars. He's fused these with Galactus's technology, channels power cosmic energy through these cores safely. To your point, unlimited power supply, never needs to be refueled. His suit can tap into these energy sources. It allows for dimensional travel, reality manipulation. He can blend scientific and mystical energies to rewrite localized physics, levitation, transmutation, energy constructs, resurrection, and healing. Can use the core's energy to reconstitute his body after death or damage. He can enhance magic rituals by amplifying them with cosmic energies instead of his own life force. So imagine Doctor Strange conjuring up a spell, but then also tapping into some cosmic energy to enhance how strong that is.
All right.
Now, what's the risk? There's always a risk.
Always.
The dimensional core is a ticking bomb. It's balanced on razor-thin equations. If a rune collapses or a dimension's energy spikes, Doom risks ripping a hole in reality. That's the reason why Doctor Strange and Reed Richards have warned him against using it. What do you think he did after they warned him against using it?
Yeah, continue to
Just
develop
kept
it,
fucking
right?
like they didn't even say anything, you know. he did what what you tell people when their food's not good. He just said thank you and fucking went on and kept using it.
He took that information like, okay, so your car has a tank of gasoline,
Yep.
which can explode.
Sure.
However, we use it in and out every day. So he's perfected this bomb, this active bomb. Because, by the way, they were talking about in the 70s about that being the next way that we could travel through space by exploding nuclear bombs behind a spaceship, right? Because once you're in motion in space, there's no friction to slow you down or stop you. Well, unless you just like slam into something. But so a car engine is literally just a controlled explosion of this gasoline. So he's perfected this exotic reactor, kind of like the Wakandians, right?
Yeah.
They have this exotic metal that they perfected over time that can allow them to do all this other stuff. Victor has perfected this siphon to the point where it does literally whatever he wants, and he looks at it like, it's a gas tank.
Right. So when people say things like, we don't know, it's just going to be rushed and thrown on us and there's no build and all this stuff. Now, this is just hypothetical, okay? If I'm looking at the Infinity Saga, you had the big baddie was Thanos. He's putting the stones together. He's got the gauntlet. He's trying to get this ultimate power. He wants to reshape the entire universe with a snap. Doom, and that's a big enough problem that the Avengers need to assemble and get involved, and that's why we have these Infinity War Endgame massive movies, right? Well, Doomsday, Secret Wars, Doom. Now we know that Secret Wars in the comics ends in Battle World. In one version, Doom puts it together. He wants to rule over whatever these incursions are. He's trying to make his perfect world. He's trying to be a god. God Emperor Doom, right? I do not believe that Marvel is going to start Doomsday and have a clean slate and not pull anything that we've seen from the MCU into this movie. For example, if Doom creates a dimensional core in Doomsday, he would probably need to find some pieces to assemble this thing.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen all kinds of, as I'm going through this fucking deep dive, we've seen all kinds of shit that can do some of what this dimensional core can do. Already exists in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about siphoning power from other dimensions and universes. Remember this amazing, immaculate masterpiece called The Marvels?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you remember part of the plot? They were stealing resources from one planet,
right,
and bring it to another planet. Well, what were they using to do that? A fucking bangle, right?
Yeah.
Well, who's got this bangle now? A couple people. There's two of them.
Right.
Could Doom, everything we've read about how he creates things, magic wielded with tech and cosmic energy, this energy, that energy, the bangles could be a part of this dimensional core.
Sure.
You got the 10 rings. Shang-Chi. Pretty sure he's accessing interdimensional power when he's using those, because he's not a superpowered individual.
Right.
He's a trained martial artist. So he's got some, I'd assume some magic abilities, but he's using these rings to do that, right?
Well, I mean, you don't necessarily need, if you go with the concept of like the Flash, right? The Flash doesn't have a magic ability, but he has the ability to access the Speed Force.
Yep.
So you don't have to be magic necessarily to access things. You just need to have the gene or the wherewithal or the knowledge or the incantation or whatever to access it.
So the 10 rings, you got the 10 rings, you have the bangle from Ms. Marvel. Now there's also some quantum realm tech. There's power in the quantum realm. You got Ant-Man. He's got some portal to get into the quantum realm. Could Doom possibly use that as well? It's one piece. You got the Darkhold. Wanda used the Darkhold in Strange 2. They said they destroyed it, but nothing's ever really destroyed in the comics. There's always another version somewhere. Oh, if you go to this fucking tomb on this one planet in this other dimension, you can access the Darkhold. Okay, cool. There's that. Now, there's the Eye of Agamotto. There's no time stone in it anymore, but is it beyond the realm of fucking possibility that through all the magic and spells that the Sorcerer Supreme knows, that they can figure out how to use the Eye of Agamotto in a different way? You got that. There's just so many little pieces here that could potentially tie in. And I mean, you have the whole device that Tony built to go back in time. My point is, there's probably a lot of seeds planted. Now, I could be completely off base. They could never have a dimensional core. But I see that as an easy way to tie Doom into this story. He's on a path for two things. One, to get revenge for if the incursions really did destroy his world. Or the other, or maybe they did. And he's on this path to collect these artifacts and these weapons to obtain ultimate power to recreate his world.
Maybe.
Bring his wife and family back. Then there's a rumor that his wife in that universe was actually Sue Storm. He lost her.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Is that a shocker?
Yeah.
Yo, they glaze Sue more than I glaze Wanda on this podcast. So, but the dimensional core is something that I learned about for the first time, honestly, this weekend. But this is what, at the end of the day, fuels Doom's armor, fuels his constructs, fuels his spells. It's the reason that a guy, because he's not a superpowered individual, he knows magic, can fight gods and survive.
Right.
It's the reason why every version of Doom eventually risks becoming the very thing that he studies, it being untethered from reality itself. He's always walking that line of,
Absolutely.
you know, he's one fucking step away from losing it all and becoming one of these cosmic fucking entities. It's powered by stolen cosmic and magical forces. So, man, dude, I'm hyped, dude. I want a dimensional core, bro. You think we can get one?
Well, first you got to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah, that's true too. I would have become God Emperor Mike, you know?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
He was right times 10. So, anyways, that is our deep dive. We had 2 deep dives today, you know? Fucking on it, dude. I'm excited, dude, for Dr. Doom.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited for what that brings over the next typical 10 years.
Right.
You know?
And I think that hopefully y'all that are still in denial can listen to this and realize that the awesome story about Doom is not Doom being Tony Stark.
Yeah.
He's such a phenomenal character without that. You have so much substance here to make him to tell an amazing story on screen.
Absolutely.
If you were to do that, it would be a complete disservice. And I just don't think that Marvel is that stupid. But remains to be seen. Either way, I'm excited to see a Doom on screen. And even if we just get a fraction of this stuff we've talked about over the last few weeks, I think we're all in for a fucking treat, bro.
I think the only thing that having RDJ as the Doom actor will bring to Doom is the scale, the scope, and the refinement of all the Iron Man movies and RDJ. By him being on the set, this movie production is going to be at a whole different level.
Yeah. This is him in his element.
Right.
He's done this for so long, but he's also, it's kind of sounds like what you were getting at is even though he was an amazing actor in 2008, he's evolved as an actor since he started this role.
Absolutely. And he's not going to allow certain shortcuts to happen in the production of this movie. It's going to be at a scale beyond, I believe.
Yep. So that remains to be seen. We will find out soon, though. Fucking almost a year away, dude. Happens before you know it, you know?